Introduction. The basic principle of all outstanding achievements is the 10x rule. You probably clicked on this article to learn more about the 10x rule and to find out if it can really help you achieve all of your goals and more. Let's start by providing some background information. Successful real estate investor Grant Cardone has developed numerous successful businesses over the years, and people frequently ask him what his one secret is to such great success. He has always been caught aback by the inquiry. He thought about it and realized that the 10x rule was the key to his success. In whatever he did, he always went above and above. Grant Cardone claimed that he continually made sure to exert 10 times as much effort as the typical individual. According to the 10x rule, you must exert at least 10 times as much effort and think critically to advance beyond your current level of accomplishment. Many people establish high standards for themselves, but they underestimate the amount of effort or mental adjustment needed to succeed. This explains why we frequently fail to reach our objectives. If you've gladly established objectives on January 1st and persevered through December 31st without accomplishing up to 50% of them, you'll understand this. Any aim can be attained if the proper activities are taken in the right quantities with perseverance. 10x aims are heavily emphasized by the 10x rule. You're only as successful as your aims, at most. The two facets of the rule complement one another. To make your ambitious, amazing ambitions a reality, you must exert the proper amount of work. We'll delve deeply into how to set aspirational objectives and take the necessary amount of action for an outstanding life in the chapters that follow. It will be an entertaining and instructive journey. Chapter 1. Success can vary. Everyone does not agree on what it means. Success is frequently defined as the gradual realization of previously established objectives, but that is a general definition. When it comes down to it, success mostly depends on who you ask, as we'll discover. As you develop, the settings change. Success as a child certainly meant bringing candy to school or staying up later than usual. For a teen, success is receiving good grades, finding a high school sweetheart, and making a successful living. Adults have different standards for success. Most adults share the same aspirations of getting married, starting a family, and developing a prosperous business. In the end, although success is measured using many criteria, it has the same meaning for everyone. Nevertheless, there are a few things you should understand about success, regardless of your success criterion. It's crucial to achieve success and repeat it. Your duty is to succeed. Success is in no short supply. If you are unsuccessful in your pursuits, life will be difficult for you. You won't have a successful career, and you'll experience relational, and financial difficulties. Simply put, you'll lead a miserable life. You have untapped potential, and if you keep up the pattern of living below it, your life will be frustrating. Success won't come to you, though, unless you work for it. Nobody waits for success to appear in their living room with folded arms. You must give it your all. Be deliberate about achieving success in your life, work, business, and family. In essence, if you don't plan and work toward achievement, your chances of success are automatically reduced. You will either live to fulfill your own ambitions and desires, or you will be employed as a tool to fulfill someone else's as long as you are alive. Did you realize? People will continue to advance in management if they maintain honing their talents, according to Lawrence J. Peter's management theory known as the Peter Principle. When a person's abilities stop being adequate for a new role and they are left in that position, that is when they reach the point of incompetence. Peter Plateau refers to this. Chapter 2. Success is attracted by who you are becoming, not pushed. You don't just get things happen to you, you also make things happen. Success comes to you because of who you are. Also failure. You need to ingrain in your subconscious the idea that nothing just happens and that everything that occurs in your life is either directly or indirectly due to you. The 10x mindset doesn't put the responsibility for the outcome it observes on other individuals or outside factors. Instead, it accepts total accountability for everything that occurs. Playing the victim won't help you go where you want to go in life. It will stop you in your tracks. If you make it a practice to accept responsibility for your actions, your life will start to change dramatically. When you are directly involved, accepting responsibility is simple. But it might be difficult if you don't appear to be in control of the issue. For instance, imagine that you're giving a speech and your audience suddenly loses interest to the point that they'd rather talk to each other than pay attention to you. It would be simple to point the finger at the organizers for giving you a dull subject or for not paying regard to the venue's aesthetics. A 10-times performer, however, might believe otherwise. They will examine themselves to see how they might have contributed to the lack of interest and decide what they can do to avoid it in the future. Chapter 3. Only those who act in life are rewarded. We have thus far come to the conclusion that the most important influences on our ability to succeed in life are our ideas and deeds. If your thinking is constrained, you won't achieve high heights. Similarly, even if you have the greatest brains known to man, you won't be able to escape mediocrity if you aren't willing to put in the necessary effort. It would be ridiculous to claim that those who are dissatisfied with their outcomes aren't doing anything. These exist. Everyday actions are the only ones we all take. The bulk of us don't make the required efforts to give birth to the kind of life we want. If you put in less effort than is necessary, your intended outcome won't be achieved. It implies that you may alter the quality of your life by altering your behavior. But if you don't know what activity level you're at right now or how to get to the level that will ensure your success, trying to accomplish this will frustrate you. Cardone identifies 4 groupings for our action levels. We will examine them chronologically, beginning with level 1. No, the members of this group have abandoned their aspirations. The things they once desired are no longer pursued by them. They lack enthusiasm when it comes to learning new things, making connections, or engaging in activities that are meant to make them more happy. They spend time laying out their case to anyone who will listen as to why things aren't going their way. At some point, members of this group have committed acts that didn't turn out as planned. They withdraw out of a sense of failure after realizing the situation is hopeless. An immediate piece of advice is to avoid drawing such conclusions too early. Even though you might have given up on your business after twice failing to meet your objectives, if you try again, things might actually turn out great. Retreatants should develop the ability to think critically before making snap judgments. For instance, it makes no sense to decide not to study for a test just because you failed a number of tests in that particular course and believe you would never be able to pass it. Prior to taking the test, it would be wise to enroll in a reputable tutorial class. Chapter 4. Opt for consistency and development over perfection. In Chapter 3, we discussed the 2 lowest levels of action. In this chapter, we'll focus on the final 2, particularly the category that everyone who wants to succeed must fit into. In today's society, this degree of behavior is both the most common and the most socially acceptable. The average person seldom aspires to do anything spectacular. They don't even consider being distinctive from the throng. They follow suit, either intentionally or unconsciously seeking a routine existence. Such a person is comfortable and stuck in the middle class since that is what society encourages. Everyday existence is risky because anything might happen. If the economy starts to shaky, you could easily go bankrupt as a business owner. As a worker, your employer won't think twice about firing you if the time comes because they can easily hire 1,000 other regular people just like you. Because it goes beyond the societal idea of perseverance or progressive accomplishment, massive action is regarded by many as borderline insane. But if you study nature closely, you'll discover that massive action is woven into the fabric of the cosmos. Consider ants and bees. They put enormous effort into securing their future, working non-stop. Did you realize that the Earth you are now sitting on is always in motion? Would you also take into account how the water is constantly moving? How can the planet's entire surface continue to revolve around the sun? Nature is constantly and tirelessly at work. It explains how a seed can be planted and then discover germination 7 days later. Our immediate environment is constantly in motion. Why should we differ from others? Massive action is all about persistently doing things that advance you, your business, or your family. No retreat, ordinary activity, or inaction are permitted. It simply takes huge action consistently. You can only emerge from obscurity to become a major force by adopting this attitude. The secret to realizing your goals and aspirations is massive action. The outcomes your life creates will ultimately speak for itself, despite the criticism it will receive from the mediocre. Chapter 5. You are not unrealistic if you have high standards. They're actually unlimited, as many people have heard. Even if they are the only ones who have limitations, they nonetheless opt for average or doable objectives. Some things are presented to us as realistic by society, while others are not. This is untrue, period. For the amazing person, there are no such things as unattainable objectives. There are only objectives that, in comparison to other objectives, demand a great deal of action. Make ambitious goals without hesitation. They make your life more joyful and fulfilling. You get a thrilling sensation of accomplishment when you complete tasks that most people would deem unachievable. You have the opportunity to persuade them that impossibility only exists in one's head. For instance, wouldn't it have been absurd to suppose you could talk to someone hundreds of kilometers distant while sitting in one location during the Stone Age? But in the 21st century, how likely is that? It would not have occurred if no one had ever set out to improve communication for all people. You may learn a lot about the lives of the greatest entrepreneurs and inventors by looking at their biographies. Lofty objectives give you the drive to continue in the face of obstacles or setbacks. But in such conditions, it's simple to give up on little objectives. As a general guideline, you should make it a practice to examine your goals each day. This will encourage you to remain focused and determined to see things through. According to the 10x rule, you should think and act 10 times more than the typical individual. Instead of competing with others, set high standards that will push you to think critically and take 10 times as many activities. Conclusion. Life is a gift that should be savored rather than put up with. Many people live sad lives and wish the world would end the next day since their lives aren't giving them what they want out of them. It's not a good idea to end your life merely because you're unhappy. Almost no issue can go unsolved. In truth, this summary has given you the not-so-secret key to remarkable success. In case you missed it, the secret to long-lasting happiness and meaningful living is going above and beyond to think and accomplish 10 times more than the average person. There is the appropriate amount of activity needed for any goal you select. The common error is for people to establish lofty objectives while underestimating the effort needed to reach them. Due to this imbalance, kids become worn out and give up before reaching any big milestones. However, it is not their fault. The mind will never provide accurate estimates without special training. Furthermore, because modest amounts of work are comfortable for the brain, it is simpler to underestimate. However, if you're serious about leading an outstanding life, you must take significant action. Make a mental commitment to moving forward with your goals by taking huge action each day. Make the decision to keep going until all of your goals have been achieved. This is the way of thinking that will prevent you from having modest thoughts and acting mediocrely. You must approach the idea of success in the same manner that good parents treat their responsibility to their children. It's a privilege, a duty, and a top priority. Try this. Make a list of your life's accomplishments. Are you happy with the home you now reside in? Your financial situation? Your overall personal accomplishment? No? The 10x rule then instructs you to get down with a pen and paper and start outlining your ideal existence. Don't consider how you will put it into practice. Your task is to outline the precise life you desire to lead. When you're through, close your eyes and start seeing that life for yourself. These are your objectives for the upcoming year. Every day in the morning and evening, repeat the process. But this time, let your thoughts create the 10x plans and actions needed to achieve your objectives.